Yeah! Welcome to another episode of Three Conservative Gimps, where we bring you the hot topics in the political realm around the world to you. So sit back and enjoy and be informed, because a good citizen is an informed citizen to make good choices, because uh, people who play stupid games win stupid prizes. So, speaking of, let's get this ball rolling. Let's bring in my co-host all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma. It's the effervescent Lloyd Mendenhall. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, Art. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Went out and did some flying today.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, I woke up before noon today, so that's an accomplishment
Oh,
for me
that's
right
good.
there.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
Actually, Judy woke me up before noon. She was wanting some stuff done and woke me up about 10:30, and it's like, oh, I had one of those nights I couldn't. I fell asleep early Friday, and then real early Friday evening, and then slept through most of Saturday.
Oh
For some
boy.
reason. I don't know. I was really tired. This, all this testing and stuff that we've been worried about kind of caught up with me, but it's looking things. The report that they sent to us Thursday evening looks promising. It looks like we're still dealing with the same thing we've been dealing with for about the last 4 years, but it kind of scared us this time because it really looked like it had changed. But they said there's no significant activity in the PET scan, so we're good to go there. So
That's good.
anyways, but yeah, I woke up. She wanted me to get up early, and been doing some stuff for her. She's trying to do a painting, and I've been having to modify some stuff to make it easier for her to, because she can't control everything.
Yeah,
My
your mic is
my
down
audio's
just
down
a
a little
little
bit.
bit. Hello,
All
Mike
right,
B. Welcome to the show.
let me see here. It could be where I have my mic, but let me check. How's this? Is this any better?
Oh, better, much better.
Okay. Yeah, I just turned my mic up. So sorry about that.
That always works.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah. Well, lighting is terrible. I didn't adjust
Yeah,
it.
you're a little washed out a little bit.
I'm a little washed out, yeah.
Yep.
Oh well. I'm too lazy to mess with it today.
That's better than being washed up, but you've
Well,
been
I'm that too.
washed up a few times.
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks in the news, that's for sure.
Yes, it sure has, and it turns out we're Ultra MAGA, which is, I guess, more inflation fighting formula. So that's why we're Ultra MAGA.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yep.
Well,
and American loving too, with a little drop of oil independence as well.
Energy I know. It's terrible to be like we are. Here's the thing. I've been, I don't watch the news as much as but now that I have satellite radio in my van, so when I'm out doing stuff, I'll listen to. I have it set for Fox News, so I hear their TV, and so when I hear something different or exciting coming up, or something tragic or whatever, I'll come home and watch it on YouTube or watch it on the Fox News app. And yesterday's situation was terrible. That tragedy that happened in Buffalo, New York.
Oh yeah,
that was. I mean, it's just. I don't understand what it is, and I don't care what they're. I mean, like I think Jeff Sills wrote. Why aren't they talking about the the subway shooter that was racially motivated?
mm-hmm.
But we're not hearing about that. We're only hearing about this young white guy. And I don't understand what these young people, it just boggles my mind, And of course, the news is going to take that, and pretty soon we're all going to be marching marching in goose step parades and burning books, if they have their way about it. And they're going to use these as incidences of why they should do that. And they're not helping anything. I mean, they're when you're that far right in your ideology, you're not helping anything either. There's got to be, conservatism is, well, first off, most of us are God fearing. And when you go out and kill 10 people like he did, that's not God fearing. And so that's kind of my 2 cents on that. I just think it is a tragedy, and I feel for those people, and I have a lot of respect for the police officer, the retired police officer who gave his life trying to protect those people. He was doing his job. He was doing what he knew was right, and that's terrible. Some friggin', and as Jeff Sells put in his statement on Facebook today, we know more about the idiot that did the shootings than we do about the victims, and that's got to quit. We got to quit talking about the perpetrators and start talking about the victims. That's what needs to go on. And then I've probably got you way off topic already, so let me stop right now. I got some other things to talk about in a little bit, but
yeah, well, we can slide into those a little later today. So, a few days ago, Biden gave one of his incoherent speeches and brings up a new word called Ultra MAGA. Now, MAGA stands for Make America Great Again.
Yes.
He makes it sound like it's a pejorative, and it's like, yeah, what's wrong with making America great again? How about prosperous and people who don't go into malls or shopping centers and shooting up the place,
Yeah.
And it just boggles my mind that MAGA on the left means something terrible, like what prosperity is terrible, and jobs for everybody, including minorities like blacks and Hispanics, which we had record numbers under Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And how about oil independence, energy independence?
Yeah.
Now, here in Denver, gas has finally gotten over $4 a gallon. That's for the regular.
Yeah, it's and just diesel, hitting here too. Yeah.
Diesel is over $5 a gallon. It's crazy.
Yeah. My son bought a Nissan diesel pickup, I don't know, a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago. And he's getting to the point where he just about can't afford to drive it, but that's what he drives back and forth to work. Well, he hadn't been driving it much lately anyways because the engine went out on it, and they replaced the engine. It just had a few days left in warranty, and they put a new engine in it, and apparently a new transmission. Good. They called him up Thursday and said it was ready to come pick it up. So we drive up to Broken Arrow, about 45 miles from here, and I drop him off, and I sit there and wait, and then he takes off and hits the highway before I do because I got to wait on a light. I'm behind him, and as we're driving along, I get a call, and it's from him. It says, "Hey, Dad, have you passed me yet?" I said, "Well, no. Why? Where are you at?" And he told me where it's at. I said, "No, I haven't made it there yet." I said, "I'll be there in a minute." "Why?" "Just my diesel engine just quit working again. Brand new diesel engine."
Oh no!
So we sat there. We sat there and for an hour or so waiting for him. He finally got hold of they finally got somebody back there in that department. They sent out a wrecker, and they took it. But yeah, for whatever reason, it quit working. So.
Oh,
of course, that's typical. They want to get something because it was under warranty. They weren't getting their full. They weren't getting to hit you for the whole shebang. They want, they like to. But anyways, so they do half-ass work,
Yeah.
and that's unfortunate what they do. And So yeah, but he says I don't know if I can afford to drive this thing now because of the cost of diesel. And he's, you know,
and what brand is that?
it's a Nissan, but it's a Cummins diesel engine. So
Nissans, they're not as good as Toyota, not as good as Subaru.
Yeah. I've, of course, it has the Cummins engine, and they've been around for a long time. But when you got mechanics that don't do their job right,
right.
Yeah, they forgot to put the thingamadoo in it. You're right, Mike.
Yeah. Or that thing called oil, or maybe even coolant.
Well, here's the thing. What they said was they told him that they'd had to drive it several times to get all the lines cleared out and get all the air bubbles out. And like he said, if they'd driven it another 6 miles, because that's how far he got with it. Yeah, it's a Cummins diesel engine. And I say Cummins is Cummins, I know that, but muffler bearing failed. Yeah, who knows? He did say that smoke was coming out from under it, and he thought it was an exhaust leak or something. They didn't get it tightened up, or something and they said it would be an easy fix. But yeah, I could see a muffler. Yeah, it's sort of like maybe they didn't. Yeah, blinker fluid. That's what I was going to say. The blinker fluid was low. Yeah.
I was going to say that. I was just thinking that too.
I was too. That's exactly what I was thinking. The blinker fluid is low. Yeah. Yeah, I know when I was in the Air Force, when we first went out on the flight line, they'd send us in to the shop to get prop wash.
Mm-hmm.
Prop wash, yeah. We need to get some prop wash to wipe this down. We'd go in there, and they'd say, "Oh, you're new here, right? Do you see any prop planes out there?" They were all jets.
Yep. Prop wash is
actually the pushback from the Yep. But go in there and get a gallon of prop wash. Okay. And there was a couple others like that they used to send us in to do. I used to know a bunch of them, but I can't remember. But yeah, blinker fluid is one of those. But
that's why I used to tell the ladies when we have, I think the time change.
Right.
Say, don't forget to set your clock and fill up your blinker fluid.
We had get this. When I was right after I got out of the service, I was working for it was a Phillips 66 station and out in Arizona. We had this old lady that came in, and she was a rich old, for some reason, and this was not your standard Phillips 66. This was it was called Waylo. It was their generic. They were higher priced than anybody. I don't know why they call themselves Waylo, because their gas was higher than anybody. But this was like in 1980, and this old lady would come in twice a year to have her. She'd come in like in the springtime, or the beginning of summer. She says, "I need you to change out the winter air on my tires."
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So none of the others would wait on her. I'd go out there, okay, and I'd go out there and I'd push the little valve. I'd take my
your tire gauge,
air tire gauge out with me, and then I'd use it and I'd push some of the air out, and then I'd fill it up. And I'd go around to all 4 tires and do that. Now, mind you, we were a self-service station, but this lady was so rich that she didn't get self-service; she got full service from us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd take cold air out and put the warm air in, and
air.
I'd put the summer air in, for her, and she was just happy as could be, and and that really paid off, because that year I was the only one that got $100 bonus. Now this is back in 1980. That's a lot of friggin' money.
Yeah, that was a lot.
The owner gave me the owner of the station gave me $100 bonus for taking care of her, and she dropped off a $50 Christmas card with $50 in it.
Oh, awesome!
I made it out good that year. Yeah, she was. They were really. She was appreciative of it, and none of the others wanted to work with her. Like, oh my God, Lloyd, would you go wait on? Yeah, I'll go wait on her. And I just, but yeah. So yeah, we changed out and in the wintertime, she'd come back in. We'd take out the summer air and put in the winter air. It's just like,
yeah, I don't think they changed out the winter air in Biden's between his ears.
no, they didn't. I think he's still just running low. Yeah, he's got low tire pressure up there in his brain.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
This is the
driving
biggest
on bald tires. Yeah. Hey, Mel, good to see you.
Hey, Mel.
Yeah.
It's almost to the point I'm almost wishing we had Jimmy Carter back.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, at least he was a micromanager and he wasn't. I mean, he was just naive.
Yeah.
Where this guy, he just, God, so flippin' stupid. And I know I sound like some of the liberals who say that about Ronald Reagan.
There you go, Chris. Yeah, tell them to go out there. They need to change into the summer air for. Oh, that'll make a lot of people happy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'd love that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Being called Ultra MAGA doesn't offend me.
No, it doesn't. You know what? To me, it's like a badge of honor. It's like
it is.
Oh, well, thank you.
And it's much nicer than being called deplorable. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
It's much.
Well, we're a deplorable Ultra MAGA. We're an Ultra MAGA deplorable. How about that?
Oh, that's even better. Yeah. Ultra MAGA deplorables. Yeah.
Hey, this could be like our version of the N-word.
We could be this is the problem when these racial slurs are shown at white people or thrown at white people. And I've told this to several of my black friends over the years. You guys got to come up with a better term than cracker.
Yeah.
There's nothing they can call us that's as offensive as using the N-word for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I don't know. They yeah.
Well, I mean, you think about it. Like I said, MAGA, Make America Great Again. And just the absurdity of, oh yeah, I like Mel's ultra deplorable MAGA.
Yeah, there you go, ultra deplorable MAGA. Yeah, it
just sounds so absurd. I mean, it's like he's trying to look smart, and then the words come out, and it sounds, I mean, I feel like a dog. You know how a dog goes, ooh,
yeah,
his head and gives you the,
ooh. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, here's the thing. Make America Great Again is what was used by Donald Trump for his campaign speech, and still being used by it. That's what he used to run on for his presidency. And so what does Joe Biden come along and do? Build back better.
Yeah.
He's just, it's just a catchphrase, and unfortunately his build back better hasn't worked really well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure hasn't.
He hasn't built back anything,
No, he hasn't. I mean,
then we've got
look at what he's done with the economy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Yep. If it was offensive, they wouldn't use it at all. But they use it in their comedy. So, I think there needs to be, and I one older gentleman was an Air Force veteran, was black, and he hated the word. He just smacked the crap out of his kids if they ever used that word, even in street talk or so. And his kids didn't speak. They didn't use gutter talk like a lot of these kids do, And yeah, it's Mel's right, and we can't. We have to call it the N-word because we're not allowed to say those words.
Yeah.
Because we're racist then.
Mm-hmm.
But hold on just a second.
All right, you got a Chihuahua on the loose?
No, I got a wife on the loose. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll bump you out of this. Alrighty, folks. So that's what's going on. When I heard that on the radio, I'm like, what? Really? Oh, he's saying Ultra MAGA, and it's like, so? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Mel, they didn't speak jive yet. Mm-hmm. I remember that from Airplane when Barbara Billingsley was on. So that's what's going on, and basically, for some reason, my internet is running real slow. President Biden's new line of attack on Republicans apparently result of liberal-funded research. Over the past week, Biden's repeatedly referred to political adversaries as Ultra MAGA, referring to President Trump's Make America Great Again 2016 slogan. The label has quickly been embraced by the right from lawmakers to the former president himself. But according to the Washington Post, the Ultra MAGA messaging came from after a 6-month research project from the liberal group Center for American Progress Action Fund and headed up by top Biden aide Anita Dunn. Journalists skeptical of Biden's Ultra MAGA label for GOP sparks comparison to Putin's price hike. The polling and focus groups research by Hart Group and Global Strategy Group found that MAGA was already viewed negatively by voters, more negatively than other phrases like Trump Republicans, the Post reported Friday. In battleground areas, more likely than twice as many voters said they would be less likely to vote for a so-called MAGA Republican and would be more likely. The research also found the description tapped into a broad agreement among voters that the Republican Party has become more extreme and power hungry in recent years. Cap Action Fund President and Executive Director Navin Nayak told the Post all of that extremism gets captured in the brand, adding to the versatile epithet. Applies to every political issue, including abortion and climate change. We're not trying to create a new word. This is how they define themselves, Nayak said. Critics mocked the research that went into Democrats' branding efforts on social media. Ultra MAGA, Ultra Make America Great Again is supposed to help Democrats. Washington Examiner Jerry Dunleavy asked, anyway, congrats to the consultants who were able to cash checks for this. Psaki said yesterday Biden came up with this all by himself through radio host Dana Loesch pointed out, referring to comments the outgoing White House press secretary Jen Psaki said, asserting the Ultra MAGA talking points was Biden original. Wow, that's just amazing. So Lloyd is back. I guess he corralled his wife and got her situated. So let's bring him back.
All right, yeah, she'd seen something, and I mean, I have her on a monitor. I looked over there, and she was there combing her hair, and then I hear her again. I look over there, and the room is empty, and she's behind me. She walked all the way in here to ask me something, and I said, "No, don't worry about that. Now that's next month." So she's scared she's going to miss something, an appointment or something, and she starts asking, and that's unfortunately part of the stroke. That's just some of the things that I deal with, but it's okay.
Right.
But yeah, I was just listening to what you said, and I just read today there's a new poll out, and it's by NBC, and it said, this is going to segue into from what that poll said, which was silly, that the Ultra MAGA thing, people are identifying and that we're extremists and all that stuff. I don't know where that poll was obviously conducted by a far left loon that doesn't know any better.
Yeah, far left think tank. And I bet you those guys are laughing all the way to the bank. Boy, we really screwed those guys, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. Well, there was a poll out today that said, and it was also dealing with the upcoming elections, the midterm elections, and it also dealt with the leaks from Scotus, and all of this coverage, all of this protesting, all of this stuff going on has not moved the needle one bit on the polls. They're still expecting a major landslide.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, the more they harp about it, now we'll see what happens now after this shooting. This may change some. This may change some minds. But I heard somebody yesterday say something. He was obviously an African American gentleman. And he had pulled up there, and he was getting ready to go in, and then he didn't for some reason. And about that time, he saw the guy, the shooter, come out and give himself up. Well, he held the gun to his head, and then eventually gave up. So, but he said, folks, I don't know we got to do something about our society. He says, this is the thing that caught my ear. It's not the gun, it's the person.
Yep.
Right. And if people, that was the biggest thing I heard off that yesterday. It's not the gun, it's the person. This is from an eyewitness that saw the guy being captured. And that's what they got to understand. It's not the gun, it's the person. And
that's true.
And they're still not releasing a lot. They said he had a 187-page manifesto and diatribe or whatever. My thing is how to get the gun. They haven't talked about that.
Yep. Did he steal it? Maybe he bought it when he was sane, and then just over time, he got a psychosis going.
First off, he's 18 years old, so he could only own a rifle once.
Right.
He could have a rifle that his parents, but he had to be with an adult to use that rifle. At least in most laws, and I'm sure he lives in New York. The state of New York. They got some of the strictest gun laws in the world. Yeah.
Funny how those gun laws are really working out great.
They're really working well up there, yeah.
Yep.
But what the hell is she doing
it's
now?
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Not exactly Beverly Hills or Muskogee.
Yeah, exactly.
It's another steel town that's going
Chris
toes
is right
up
there. It's always the car, not the driver. It's always the knife, not the person using it. Yeah, That's the way they like to play it, And there's got to be a lot more stuff that's the gun doesn't shoot itself. That's it. I mean, right now, my gun, unless Judy gets over there and farts around and knocks something over, my gun is sitting in there beside my bed, loaded, cocked and loaded, and it has slept there every night for 6 years. I've had it there. And not once has it ever gone out and shot anybody. Matter of fact, it hasn't even fired itself.
Wow, amazing.
It's one of those smart guns, It knows not to go out and shoot people on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it might be an Ultra MAGA.
It's probably an Ultra MAGA gun, yeah. But
all right, let's talk about this leak that happened a little over a week ago. So, somebody in one of the justice's offices, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like it came from Breyer's office, that one of his employees leaked it. Because, he's the outgoing justice. And some of the people working for him probably thought, oh, you know what? This will change their minds. If I release them, this will get so much backlash that they'll change their mind. I don't, especially not conservatives, because, they're all about interpreting what the law says.
Yes.
Because in the Constitution, there are no amendments. There's nothing that says anything about abortion.
That's right.
And they back in 73, they just made it up. They just looked for, I think this is what it means. It's about privacy,
Right.
Yep. It was all about emanations. The penumbra of emanations is what they said.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what the hell that means, and I usually know most of the words you say.
Penumbra is like when we have a solar eclipse, and emanations. What do you think emanations mean? Kind of obvious. Like, giving way, gaseous, it's like when you have a fart, you have emanation.
Okay, all right, yeah. Well, and that's the thing, that all they were doing, and all it says in this brief so far from what I saw of it, was they're going to send it back to the states and let the states decide it.
And that's the way it should be.
And that's the way it should have been, because this was a state case that came up for review by the courts in 1973, and it should have it should have never been. I mean, they had no jurisdiction in it, really, because there's nothing constitutional about it, unless they wanted
becoming extra judicial. They were doing. They were legislating. That's what Congress is for. It's not their job to make up law.
And from what I understand, if I saw something this week, Congress actually tried to get the ball rolling on creating a law, and it fell short.
Yeah. Well, imagine that. They need 60 votes to pass it along. That's called cloture.
Yeah. And
they knew they weren't going to get that. You know why?
It was symbolic.
Yeah. It was all symbolic.
Yeah, it's all symbolism.
And why, when Obama was president, and he had a super majority in the Senate, he could have had a law passed. Why didn't he do it then?
Obama had a lot of things he could have done, and that's what. And he lost that within 2 years. He lost that supermajority.
Yeah, Mike. Well, the reason they didn't want to do that is because they want to keep this issue alive, because that's one of their planks in their election
platform. Yeah,
platform.
Yeah. And it's also been in our platform as Republicans for years too. And I said years ago that this isn't something I think should be a plank in the platform. This is something that should be decided by state legislatures. And I've been saying this back when from my first voting, when first election I voted in, and they kept, they'll, overturn Roe versus Wade. The Republicans have been yelling about this for however many years that's been, 50, almost 50 years.
Really 40. Got going under Reagan when he called the evangelical Christians as the silent majority.
Right. And that's and that's when it'd be nice if Joe Biden would be silent, but that's a different story. And it wasn't something that was part of the political statute. It should have been something handled by the courts and or the state legislature. I never felt it should have been a federal jurisdiction thing. What strikes me as funny is that we have a person who's running for or who has been nominated to be a Supreme Court justice, a liberal, but she can't answer what a woman is. Yeah. Because she's not a biology teacher, but yet she's all for a woman's choice.
That's true.
How do we know that these are really women that are having these abortions?
Well, now they're saying men could be pregnant.
Oh my God, I saw that and I thought, who in the hell come up with that idea?
Oh, they're doing uterus transplant. I'm like, going, what the hell? And now men could actually have kids, just transplant a uterus, and then they do in vitro fertilization, and then they give birth through C-section because they don't have a hoo-ha.
Yeah, they're going to, I think some of these people I'll just put it bluntly, some of these people are going to burn in hell. Messing with God's handiwork. I mean, that's just my opinion. But and that reminds me, that's something else that I saw. I just saw, there are 3 young men in, 8th graders, 7th graders, middle school kids, that their school is charging them with sexual harassment.
Huh?
Yeah, one of the mothers got the notice from her school that they were being charged with sexual harassment. She thought, oh my God, has he raped somebody? What's he done? And what happened was there was a person, in grade school. This was a 6th grader. This person had apparently identified themselves as a they or a them. And so this one boy, he called him a girl, a her, and this person, this they or them, came unglued on him. Well, he just kind of cowered back, and she started yelling, "Why can't you use the proper pronouns? Why can't you use the proper pronouns? Blah 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 blah," and screaming. And this other kid got up and says, "What is wrong with you? Leave him alone. You are a she, and that's it." Well, now the school is bringing charges of sexual harassment against him, even though it was the they, them, that, it, whatever, shit brains kid that was bullying the other kid, and all he did was come in and defend him. Leave him alone. And it's just, and this is in grade school, or we're talking 6th, 7th, 8th grade, something like that, and it's like, oh, come on. This crap's got to quit. It just infuriates me. We got men having babies. We got kids being able to bring sexual harassment charge because we didn't use the right friggin' pronoun. I don't think they have changed Merriam-Webster's dictionary yet.
Yep.
I think if you
dogs
look up
and
there,
cats living in the streets, the world's going to hell. We're having chaos.
Yeah, I know. And it's just getting ridiculous.
I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
That's pretty much how I feel too. I'm getting that way. I am getting that way.
Yep. Well, and that's probably why Mike's not here. He's taking a break from YouTube
Mike B says,
for a while.
I want to be a lesbian. I am a lesbian in a male's body.
Mm-hmm.
It's real simple. I'm a lesbian in a male's body. Sometimes that goes over people's head and they go, zoop. That's a, what do it? Oh, I get it. Yeah, I like women. Okay.
So, getting back to this leaked document, this has never happened in the history of the Supreme Court that anybody
no.
And who was it? I think it was Scalia that said that he was Scalia. Isn't he the one that passed?
He's
one of the
dead,
guys,
yeah.
One of the guys said, I'm going to make sure this guy gets disbarred and never becomes a lawyer. And I thought about that and I go, probably in California, they'll probably give him a law license. They'll probably, Yeah,
they will.
Yep.
Here's the other thing is we've got these protesters that are going to the justice's house, Alito's house, and protesting. And there is a federal law against protesting in front of their house
don't pay attention to Mike.
Okay. All right. Anyways, there is a federal law against doing that to try and persuade them to make a decision. You cannot intimidate and or protest in front of the house or any building that they are in in order to persuade their decisions.
Yep.
So, but is the Justice Department, is this flaming liberal,
but Lloyd,
limp-wristed
it's
Justice
called
Department
First Amendment, freedom of speech.
Yeah, I got first.
That's why they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, I got Second Amendment rights too.
Yeah,
they come on my property protesting like that, and I feel threatened. I guarantee you, they're going to find out what my Second Amendment rights are. My Second Amendment rights will outdo their First Amendments.
Oh, and not only that, you know what? The Democrats are saying, well, if this passes, then, they'll make interracial marriages illegal. And I'll go,
I know.
Somebody should talk to Clarence Thomas about
that. Yeah, exactly.
Or how about Mitch McConnell?
Yeah.
He's married to an Oriental woman.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Their ignorance knows no limits.
They're going to have laws on contraceptive. I'm like, really? You got to be flipping kidding. All this is going to do is puts it back
the
to where it was, to where the states decide what to do.
Yeah.
Hey, if people
it's not saying that abortions are illegal. It says it's up to the states to determine, and what they're worried about is some states have passed, including Oklahoma, and it has been signed into law, but we got states that are allowing, there are a couple of states out there that allow abortions even after, at the point of birth.
Colorado's one of them.
Yeah. That's sick. The depravity of the far left is beyond, it's, and here's the other thing, we're sending billions over to the Ukraine, and yet we're not taking care of our people here in our home country. Yeah. We're sending baby formula down to the illegals coming across the border, but we can't find baby formula here for our own legal citizens, the ones born here. You know, this just is I'm definitely running for president again. Maybe this time I'll win.
Hey, I'll be your vice president.
Vice president? Yeah, you could be my vice president. That'll work. You know.
Because we don't know where Jim is. He's kind of
he's gone. Yeah, Chris, you're right. It's bullshit, and that's the way I'm feeling about it. I'm getting to where I can't hardly watch the news. It has to, it has to be something that really catches my eye. And
right.
When I see something, then I start looking into it. And I don't tell Judy a lot of this stuff because sometimes she gets concerned. And she occasionally, misunderstands. So I have to piecemeal stuff together for a short.
Right.
And she, I mean, she's cognitive and everything, but sometimes the short-term memory gets a little messed up,
Right.
And then I have to go back over it again, so I just give it to her a little at a time. But you see this stuff and you realize that these states, like Texas and Oklahoma, and are doing what's best. They're putting a limit on Oklahoma's. I think is 9 weeks.
Right.
Pardon me. I think we set it at 9 weeks. And I saw the best thing the other day. It said they found some microorganism on Mars, and so now there's life on Mars. But yet a heartbeat in a human being fetus is not life.
Yeah. It's just a clump of
Where do you distinguish life? We can distinguish it for a microorganism in a planet so far away that none of us in this group will ever travel there,
Right.
And they may not even travel there in our lifetime,
Yeah.
And yet they can call that life on Mars, but we can't call it life on Earth if you hear a heartbeat. That's just the stretch of their ignorance just is, it just boggles the mind, and I'm just getting old for this kind of crap.
Here's the other thing too. If the woman wants to get an abortion, all they have to do is go to another state. And I bet you there's going to be a liberal organization that'll help those people out to get to those states.
Yeah, and here's the thing. There are cases in which that might be acceptable. I don't feel it is, but there are cases where I can see that that would be acceptable and under certain circumstances. But I was on live with Art last week. I was starstruck. Oh, did Chris come on here last week?
Well, I think he was on. It was Matt's show Friday night.
Oh, okay, Friday night. Yeah, okay.
He finally showed up on Matt's show.
Oh, okay. I missed his show last week. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but I mean,
a couple days ago.
Oh, is it this week? I missed it too. No, I did turn in for part of it. I didn't say anything, but I did watch a few minutes of it. I always forget when his show starts, but
starts at it'd be 7 p.m. your time.
Yeah, Friday. that's in the summertime. In the wintertime, it starts at an hour or 2 hours later, an hour or 2 hours, 6 o'clock, or I don't know what they're. It's always reversed, and so yeah. So, anyways. But yeah, the ignorance of the left, and I mean, it's just
yeah, that's right, Chris. Yeah, it was a couple of nights ago.
Yeah,
that's right.
Anyways, but yeah, this whole abortion thing is it's going back where it belongs, and that's in the state.
Thing. It'll take away federal funding.
That's what they're really ticked off about, is the fact that the federal funding is being removed.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's what's really upsetting them is the fact that they're losing the federal funding. Planned Parenthood is going to go broke,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well, they'll go broke in some. But here's the deal: there's going to be some liberal organizations or deep-pocketed Democrats that will keep these um, places
slaughterhouses open.
Yeah. So they're not. The money is just going to be rearranged. They're not going to go broke. It's just going to be
it's
from
not
a
like
different source.
it's not
it just
like
won't come out of our taxes to pay for.
Well, with luck, but where will that money go? To feeding the illegal aliens or something? They haven't thought this out yet. If they let this go, then they can have more money to feed the illegal aliens.
Mm-hmm.
But they're so short-sighted. They just don't understand the politics. Yeah, it's just when they came up with the amendment after Franklin Roosevelt, they said the reason they didn't want having more than 2 terms is because they didn't want too much power in one place. They didn't want that. Let's limit it 2 terms. That way, there's not an extension of long power. But they need to do that with the Congress and with the Senate, with the House and the Senate, because we got people like Nancy Pelosi who thank God is not going to be running again.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I mean, look at most of the people in Congress are over 60 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of flipping old people.
Yeah.
And they've been there. I mean, look at Conyers and Dingle that have been in power for over 50 years.
Yeah, I know.
Originally, it was set up that because most of these people were farmers or they had labor-intensive jobs, and they were only in D.C. Temporarily, and then they went back to the farm.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why they only served a term or 2.
Yeah.
So there was more turnover back in the early days of the nation.
Yeah, and I mean, look at our president. He hasn't had a real job most of his adult life.
Yeah, that's right.
He's worked for the government the whole time. Over 50
he started
years.
off as a congressman, and then he became a senator back in the early 70s.
And something like that.
Senator up until he became vice president.
And then he was out of a job for a little bit and didn't work for about 4 years, and then came back and still not working. Actually, I don't think he worked any of that time. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot he was a truck driver and a bus driver We can't forget that.
Bus
driver. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and everybody is according to him. I think I saw the other day that everybody is going to start getting high-speed internet. Isn't that wonderful? Yay! So we got Al Gore to thank for the internet that allows these morons to get on here and spout whatever kind of crap they want, and now we get to thank President Biden for making it so we can see these idiots faster.
Yeah.
Man, there's times I wish some of these idiots only had dial-up, then we didn't have to listen to their crap.
I think Biden still is operating on dial-up, maybe even slower.
Yeah, I think he's using like a
baud.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking 1200 baud. Yeah, that's
Could be right. Yep.
This is
he's probably screaming, "Jill, get off the phone!"
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. He's like,
I remember those days.
Yeah, well, I had initially I had a phone line put in this office just for my computer systems, and then they finally got DSL, and I was one of the first ones in Muskogee to get DSL when they brought it here.
Wow.
Muskogee was the first city they tried it in Oklahoma at AT&T set it up, and I was I was like number 2 or 3 on the list. I think I was one of the first ones to be, and boy, I was smoking when I got that stuff, and it was like, shoo. But anyway,
well, when I first got internet here in we lived in Denver. We lived in southeast Denver,
right?
Almost right on the border with Aurora, and we had our own. I mean, we lived in a townhouse complex, and we had our own cable provider because they got their stuff from satellite dish. They had a great big satellite dish, and all the townhomes were hooked up to it, and it was called TCI cable.
Oh,
and it was cheap. It was $20. I mean, even then, it was kind of expensive. It was reasonable.
Yeah,
and then it became Cablevision, and then it became and then it became somebody else, and now it's either Comcast or what is it? CenturyLink.
CenturyLink, yeah.
And now CenturyLink is finally caught up to fiber. Ooh.
Yeah, well, they're getting ready to start fiber here in Muskogee because Suddenlink is sold out. Well, it's been bought out by Optimum, and Optimum is apparently going to go fiber eventually. I don't know when. Yeah, I ain't worried about it, but yeah, it's it's amazing that we got a president that is just
out of touch.
Oh, out of touch isn't even incoherent. Yeah, senile. I tell you what. Yeah, I would, even with Judy having had the stroke, I would trust her decisions better than I would his.
Yep.
You know, and but yeah, it's this whole thing with the news in the last 2.5, 3 weeks has just been.
I know.
Some of us been so far out there. You know, these people have got, and a lot of it. I talked to my son, the oldest one, and the problem is they no longer have a moral compass. No. There is no morality. You know, it doesn't have to be based off of religion, but still, morality. There's good and the bad, and people have decided that anything that is good is bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the morality position of the left anymore, and I'm to the point I almost wish Bernie Sanders had won. And that's sad.
Well, if okay, 6 months from now we have the election, and if things go the way we think they're going to go, there's this huge red wave, and we've got control of both houses. I think what's going to happen is they're going to start bringing legislation to ramp up oil production, oil and gas production. But here's the kicker: I bet you any money Biden is going to veto it.
Oh yeah,
he's going to stand. He's going to stand firm on it. He's going to let this country go to hell because fuel prices are through the roof, and he thinks he still believes in this pie in the sky, green energy. Yeah.
I
solar and wind.
I talked about this on my show. I don't know, it was a couple of years ago. It was after Trump was elected. It was, maybe a year and a half ago. Yeah, it's 20. Yeah, it had to have been almost a little over 2 years ago I talked about. There was a guy that called in, I don't know whether it's Sean Hannity or Rush Limbaugh. I can't remember. It's before Rush passed away. I can't remember. And this guy was a socialist. And he said that he was so against the conservative movement. He was so pro-socialist that he would do whatever it took to get that president out of office. It was Trump at the time. And they asked him, says, even if it means you losing your freedoms, he says, absolutely. Even if it destroys this country, I will do whatever it takes to push the socialist agenda. And he says, not only that, we've been working on doing that for over 30 years now. And he says, we have a plan. We as socialists have had a plan in action for over 30 years. We've been building and slowly putting judges in place, putting congressmen and senators, local legislatures, local senators. He says, we've been doing this for over 30 years. And he says, we've got a plan. He says, and our time is just about ready. And here we are, folks.
Yep.
And I wish I could remember. I couldn't remember if it's on Sean Hannity, the guy called in, or Rush Limbaugh. I can't remember now.
Yep.
Because it was before Rush passed away. So,
right.
But it's like, and it was scary to hear this guy talk. I mean, it was really scary. This guy he sounded like you and me, just a good old boy that just but he felt strongly. They kept asking, even if this means you losing your freedom, he says, even if it means me going to jail to make sure that we push the socialist agenda. Now, and he talked in depth on how, and it was actually, I can't remember because it was actually part of an interview he called in on one of the female conservative talk show hosts. That's where it was. He called in on her show, and then she brought it.
Ingram?
It might have been Laura Ingram, and then she brought it to Sean Hannity. Yeah, you might remember that now. I think it was Laura Ingram, And you're right. There it is. There it is. We're looking at it.
Well, Lloyd, we've done a little over an hour. Pretty much stuck to the hot topic today. We kind of veered around, but we pretty much stuck to it. So everybody in the chat, thanks for coming on this nice, warm, sunny, windy day. We'll see you again. We're going to be back to our regular time. Hold on. And we'll keep this going, and hopefully Mike will come back and join us. And I was thinking about changing the name of our show to the Ultra MAGA Show.
Could do that. Yeah. I tell you what, right now, in the next couple of months, we're going to have to really watch, because I guarantee you, with this shooting that happened in Buffalo, they're going to start really looking at conservative groups, and so. Yep. But hey, if we actually get booted off the air because we're conservatives, that means we're actually making an impression on somebody.
Yeah, we're over the target. All right, folks, take care. God bless you, and God bless America. Take care. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.